Like I still feel like Brooklyn is where I belong and Brooklyn is where I thrive because Brooklyn loves me and I love Brooklyn. Manhattan, I didn't have that experience. It just hasn't been that great. I've had some great wins in Manhattan, but a lot of losses. A lot of that has to do with the market too. They're very different markets, like things are moving and shaking in Brooklyn and Manhattan is very slow. I'm starting to see a lot of Manhattan agents in Brooklyn, to be honest with you. I'm like, oh, I haven't seen you over here before. How are you? You know? So it's part of the market, but a part of it is that it's just a different beast. I'm still building in Manhattan. I think about 40% of my listings are in area Manhattan, but I really have to show up differently there because I don't have a reputation there. I can't rest on that. It stretches you in certain ways that are not most comfortable, obviously. But I think developmentally and for my career, it's probably the best decision I could have made.
That's good. It's
Pain in the
good to
ass,
have,
but a really good decision.
right, like a pain in the ass. And it's good to have a balance. And like, it's one of those things of like, let's not look, the gift horse in the mouth. Like this Brooklyn, the love I have, people would kill for this. Let's expand and have
Yes.
ambitions, but let's never forget this,
Yeah,
like you want to build, but you never want to forget about the base, right?
exactly. And I feel like I want to expand. I don't want to necessarily move. Like I love what I have going. I live in Brooklyn. I will continue to live in Brooklyn. And that's just where my world is. That's my tribe and that matters to me. But there's a little girl inside of me that has always wanted to conquer Manhattan and we have to feed her. We have to give her what she needs.
What about, your fiance? I'm getting you married all of a sudden. Your fiance is on the show also, Jeffrey. Like, what is it like to, be on a reality show and just forget about that, just work every day on a team with your
Yeah.
romantic partner?
It's crazy. I think in general, and I would never recommend it. Don't do it. Save your relationship. But we met in the business, and so the transition wasn't as hard for us. I met Jeff like I think a week or two into my first year in real estate, and our sales manager at the time asked me this. He was like, "Are you single?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Sit here, sit outside of my office." And I was like, "Okay, I'm single, so I'm gonna sit outside your office, weirdo." Okay, fine. It was because Jeff sat on the other side of the table and he had decided he wanted me to meet Jeff and he wanted to connect me and Jeff. So he's like, the only way I can do it, I'm their sales manager. I can't like hook them up. I can only seat her in front of him. So he sat me in front of Jeff purposely. I thought he was sitting me in front of his office. He was actually sitting me in front of Jeff because Jeff sat outside of his office and he just let it go. And from that point on, I think a year and a half later, like he found us at like a doggy, he found us at a doggy training center because we had just gotten a puppy. And he had no idea we were dating. No one ever did. Like I never wanted anybody in the office to know that I was dating Jeff because I feel like that industry, our industry specifically, will rip everything from a woman and give credit to the man. So I was like, listen, if you don't know I'm dating him, you can't credit my success to him, which is exactly what people would have done because I had a very stellar first year and they would have said it was because of him. I didn't want that to happen. So we kept our relationship completely private. And our sales manager caught us like at some baby doggy training camp for Butter a year and a half later. And he's like, oh, okay, you guys have a dog together. Must be serious. So we met in the business. We've always downloaded about the work. We have always needed each other's advice and trusted each other's advice. So what has shifted for us is we have to set really strict boundaries in the home to shut it down at some point because he's very much a workaholic and so am I. So there's got to be some sanity in the home. So we have house rules around work that we've had to implement, and he doesn't follow, and he cheats all the time because we have cameras, and I know. But those are the rules. We try to stick to those rules. It's been better. Filming with your partner is weird because when I'm pissed at him, you see it in the scenes, you see it in the moments, and the animosity doesn't really connect to what's going on. But I'm like, well, he didn't fucking close the dryer. That's really what's happening here. So there are moments where I think even like I felt it. I don't know what it comes across on camera where like we're having conflict, and so we're just talking about a deal, but I'm like I'm rearing to go. you know and he's like here she goes, and so sometimes the animosity is not about the moment, it's about where we are in our relationship. I don't know if that's good or bad for the cameras, but you don't get what I give. I don't know what to tell you. Like I can't be who I'm not. I can only be me, and if he pissed me off at 7 a.m., you're gonna get that at 11:30.
You're
Good
carrying
luck.
it around, right?
Good luck.
Any wedding plans on the horizon? I'm sure you get asked that very often.
I do. We're forever fiancés. So we've been engaged for I think 5 years. We've been engaged for 5 years. maybe 6. I'm not sure. We've been together for 10, and no, we've been engaged for more than 5 years. We've been engaged for 6. I don't even know. I'm sorry. We are together every day. I lose track of this stuff. But we got engaged in 2019, so that makes 6.5 years we've been engaged. Yeah. But no, we've never made a plan to get married. We got engaged, and the very next morning, I was like, I don't really like the marriage thing doesn't mean as much to me. And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, well, the New York State thing, like, I don't need the state involved in anything I do. Like, to me, it's very important that like we build together and that we want to be together and, you know, we want the same life. Like, that's super important to me, but I don't necessarily need a piece of paper. I don't need, and I think he thought that was very strange. But by the time we got finished with that vacation, because we were going on vacation when we got engaged, it was actually my birthday, and the engagement was a surprise. But by the time we came back from that trip, we were just kind of settled. We bought a home, like we decorated, we hit the pandemic, we managed to stay together when no one else did pandemic. And we started working together at Serhant right after that. We've been building out since then. And we don't work together as much as people think. I mean, Jeff is an office person. He spends a lot of time in the office every day, 9 to 5. I work out in the field. I'm usually in my car. I'm with my clients. I'm meeting for lunches. I'm having dinners and I'm working from my home office outside of that. So we kind of still come together at the end of the day and the beginning of our day, like most couples. It just wouldn't feel that way because you see so much of us together. But those are just set things that are on our calendar. That's not how our days flow at all. We're too strong. Like if you have me in the room, you don't need Jeff. And if you have Jeff in the room, I will not be in the room. Like two of us are not necessary. You don't pay for that. you don't get that.
I love it. Right. And you are on the go. So it's not like you're sitting at a desk next to the person all day. So you really don't
No.
see them.
And he trained me in this business. So like anything I do well because of great training. I trust him implicitly to take care of anything. And I think that he would say the same thing about me.
I love it. As we wrap up, final two questions. What do you like? You said, I mean, being a broker, even though it's not my main job, and I have full respect for people that do it full time because it is not an easy job. Like, what is your pet peeve, like with real estate? Like, do you have a pet peeve? I mean, what can go wrong often does, lots of wins, but like, do you have a pet peeve in like deals that just, like, I have an agent, a friend, and her pet peeve is like when a buyer says, like, well, what did they pay for this? I mean, she's like,
Hmm.
does that really matter? I mean, like, I understand the
Right.
question, but like, that's just her pet peeve. Like, do you have a pet peeve in like the transactional part of real estate or just the real estate business?
I think I have a pet peeve when brokers have no backbone. That's my biggest pet peeve. It's like the way I look at my business, this is my business, this is my deal. And I work for my clients, yes, but this is my deal. I put this deal together. I curate everything, I orchestrate everything, and I'm in charge. I don't like when other brokers don't have that same energy about their business because if you're in charge of your deal, I'm in charge of my deal. We can come together and make this work. If you let your client run all over you and do the transaction as if they're the ones that do this every day for a living and understand like all the nuances of the business, then I'm working with an inexperienced agent on one side and me on the other. That's not fair. Get a hold of your client, get a hold of your deal, and meet me at the table. That is like my biggest pet peeve. And I tell people that from the very beginning. I'm like, I'm working with you, I'm not working with your client. Wrangle her, get that under control so that we can do business. It's your job to educate your client on how things work, the manner of things, what the practices are, what standard policies are, and what would make sense. A big part of this job is being able to influence behavior. And people get that confused. They get their license, they may even get a listing. It doesn't matter if you can't influence behavior. That's the job. I have to be able to get you to do what I need you to do so we can be successful in this transaction. And I hate when I'm working with a broker that doesn't have that. They don't have any backbone. They're just there. They're just present. And now you're working on both sides to try to make it happen. So it's one check, split 2 ways, but you're doing all the work on both sides. Biggest pet peeve. I think most brokers would say that.
That is such a good point. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. A final question, like what advice would you have for someone that wants to get into the business, maybe wants to come work on the Tricia Lee team at Serhant that's just starting out or is thinking of getting their license? What advice would you have?
I would say don't believe the hype. Like this is a glamorous ass grind, and don't think you're going to come over here and being cute is going to cut it. It just doesn't cut it. It really doesn't. And even if you appear to be doing the job and you're cute and everything looks great, the industry knows you're a fraud. So you have to know what you're doing. You have to know the job. You have to make impact. You have to get really good at it. I think it's better for people to do all of those things before they ever approach Trisha or Team Trisha Lee. Figure out what you're doing, learn the job. This is an environment where people want to start at the top now, and they bring no skills, no knowledge and no experience to the table, but they want to start at the top. And I think it's just comical. It's like I'm 10 years in of learning how to do this job and to do it really, really fucking well. And I don't have the nerve that some of these people do with their licenses that are still wet. Like it's just insane. Like I feel like I always tell people, figure out what you're doing and get really, really good at something before you approach anybody about it. Because everybody wants to be a superstar realtor. Everybody wants to. The only thing that's going to set you apart is that you actually become a great realtor. And then everything else will just fall into place.
And we saw that a little bit season one with Savannah, who wanted listings and,
Yeah, very outspoken, very opinionated, knows nothing. It's like there's a lot going on here. You don't even know what we do right now. Like you don't even know what we do here yet. And you have suggestions. It's like that's not how things work. It's not. And I don't mean to say that not everyone has value, but we've put the time in, a lot of us, to really have the careers that we do. Like show some respect. Show some respect. That's the way I look at it. It's deference.
I love it. Listen, I can't wait to watch season 2 of Owning Manhattan. I will share all your socials when this comes out. I'll let you know the date too. It's coming out in two
I'll
weeks.
share it as well.
Thank you for sharing it when it comes out. And anyone that wants to buy or sell a house, they need to call Tricia Lee. So
Yes, go to tricialee.com or love Tricia Lee on socials.
I love it. I'll share all your socials. You have been great. I could talk to you all day. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.